Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another Friday review. And today I am here to review Heavy Metal Ninja, the brand new EP from, of course, Japanese own Metalucifer, which was released well, through various different labels at this point. That's why on the thumbnail card I pretty much wrote on the bottom various. Because normally that's where I'll leave, the record label at least the name or two. But this one had various labels that had released this one. And the first one actually to have released this one was Iron Oxide Records, and that was back on February 25th. So this is a pretty older release, but the reason I'm doing it this day is because of this is the day that Horror, Pain, Gore, Death Productions, the label that pretty much had sent this to me as a promo pretty much a month back, are releasing it today, air on July 15th. And there's at least a bit of a slight difference with their version of this release that then compared to the ones that were, through like Iron Oxide, Dying Victims, Hell's Headbangers, and of course, Newbie Nigra Productions. Fuck, I don't know, but that was on June 4th. So there we go. So I guess without further ado, let me get into my overall thoughts on the brand new EP from these, of course, I'm gonna call these guys Japanese metal legends. It is Heavy Metal Ninja from Metalucifer. Let me get into it. Okay, before I really get into any of my, my overall thoughts on this EP, again, the brand new EP from these guys, you know what I have to do. I have to do a track listing rundown so I can tell you folks where the songs were on this EP, how many songs were on this EP, what's the time length of this EP. Technically, there's at least 4 songs that were recorded for this EP, but for most of these CD releases or just physical releases, they pretty much would have the songs, basically repeat. And instead of being around normally 23 minutes and 10 seconds, it all gets bumped up to at least around 46 minutes. And it's usually going to either include Japanese versions, or in this case with the Horror, Pain, Gore Productions release of this, of this release, they include karaoke versions of these songs, which are basically just instrumental versions, versions without vocals. But right now, I'm just going to focus on showing you, the 4 songs and what they are, and of course, what would be the normal time length for these 4 songs alone. So, these 4 songs, of course, begin with Born to Play Heavy Metal, the title track, New Wave of British Heavy Metal, and then finally, Heavy Metal Bang Your Heads. So there's your 4 songs for this, well, EP or 8-track EP, just because of it all gets repeated. Alright. Well, if you at least are familiar with Metalucifer, then you probably need to know more about Metalucifer and what they are, what they play, and what their overall themes are, the lyrics and everything. You at least don't need to know furthermore. But for those who at least are not familiar with Metalucifer, I'm going to have to at least give you a very brief rundown. And that's just, well, if you're familiar with the Japanese metal band Sabbat, or Sabbat, whatever is the way, the preferred way to pronounce it. Again, don't try and call me a dumbass in the comments just because I don't know how to pronounce it. Just at least be nice and, tell me what is the preferred way to, to pronounce the word Sabbat or Sabbat. What is the preferred way instead of just trying going for insults. Either way, if you're familiar with the Japanese metal band Sabbat or Sabbat, and with, of course, the guy Gezo, then you'll know that Metalucifer is his side project, and he had formed this side project for Sabbat in 1995, and since then, releasing the first album, Heavy Metal Drill, in 1996. This has been, at least along with Sabbat, one of his babies in a way. This is pretty much one of his just his crowning achievements. And this is, again, the difference between this and Sabbat is that this is more straightforward heavy metal, I guess really early primitive, before the whole new wave or traditional heavy metal was even a thing. This was, again, one of the earliest acts that was, trying to play more classic heavy metal, more traditional styles. And the themes for a lot of these albums is that it all had to be, centered around just heavy metal. That's why all the album titles have been either like Heavy Metal Drill, Heavy Metal Chainsaw, freaking Heavy Metal Bulldozer. And this here with the EP here, it is Heavy Metal Ninja. Anything heavy metal is pretty much going to be in the title, going to be in the songs, and the lyrics and the themes. I would say it is more... I would say it's even more self-awareness than Manowar. But I love it. I just love everything that these guys have put out, and I think this EP is no exception. If you are very much familiar with everything Metalucifer has done, then this is going to be no different. And I think, and if you enjoyed the formula of Metalucifer, then you're obviously going to enjoy this 4-track EP. Everything that was the, I guess, the cool embodiment of Metalucifer is all captured in this entire EP right here. It's just a fun release, and again, it's some of the more newest stuff since in quite a while, really. It's been definitely some years, and I would say this is a really solid, very fun EP from these guys. And to really say if there's any sort of real great highlights, I would say the entire EP. I mean, it's 4 fucking tracks. It's enough to where you can pretty much can say, well, this is my every one of these songs are pretty much my favorite. One of these two. It really, you don't really need to kind of pick and choose. It's all within 4. It's all the essence of Metalucifer is all captured in 4 of these songs, and all 4, and it's just great. I mean, the song New Wave or British Heavy Metal is pretty much self-explanatory. It is a love, a love letter, a tribute to, of course, to that classic movement and wave that pretty much was from the late 70s into at least somewhere within the early to mid 80s. Usually people say that the stopping point's either at 83 or 84. I'm gonna go with at least 84 for me. Actually, it's the stopping point, because by 85 to 86, it's starting to become really late for anything to really be called the new wave or British heavy metal. But still, this is a tribute, a love letter to that whole entire movement, that just gave us bands like Iron Maiden, Saxon, and Tigers of Pantang, Raven, Venom, and Samson, and just all those great bands. So this is a love letter to that, and that's what they've been kind of playing off of, that kind of style for years. And this is, again, it continues that tradition. But there's so many cool, songs, they're all catchy, and they all have their own hooks. It's just straight up classic heavy metal. I mean, I can go on and try and say something about it, but I think there really isn't much there to really say other than this is just a really enjoyable EP from beginning to end. And I think for any of those who love classic heavy metal and who just love at least the style, or just very familiar with the style of Metalucifer, you probably are not going to be very disappointed with this. I think you will definitely enjoy this just as much as you probably will have enjoyed their previous releases. It's all captured in this 4-track EP, or 8-track, depending on which copy you get. Because if you get this copy, you get basically just instrumental versions of these songs. But if you get the let's say the ones on like Hell's Headbangers or whatever, you'll end up getting Japanese versions of these ones. So you can pick and choose which versions you want to get of this release. But still, it just it becomes a really more of I guess an easy way to really put this album on repeat, or the CP on repeat, because of it'll just continue on, and you'll just be, you know, stuck listening to this for days or weeks. And I think that's really good. It's really cool. But yeah, these are all 4 great freaking songs, so I can say no the more. So I say I recommend Heavy Metal Ninja from Metalucifer. If you like classic metal, if you dig Metalucifer, I think you will not be disappointed with this EP. So there we go. So that's it, folks. There's my overall thoughts, in a way, on Heavy Metal Ninja from Metalucifer, and my rating, I'm going to give it a 9.40 out of 10. I think it's a really solid EP from beginning to end. Nothing is, you know, it's not the most extraordinary thing, but for me, who is a fan of their style, and who likes, of course, the overall themes, and who likes the compositions and everything, and just likes that or sort of classic style, I can't get enough of this stuff. So I'm obviously gonna rate it pretty high. Again, that's just my biasness in this case. So there we go. But again, this EP has been out pretty much since February. And if you have been very familiar and have been following Metalucifer, and if you've checked it out, I'm very curious on what your thoughts are. Whether it be positive or negative, you can leave those thoughts in the comment section below. But if you have never listened to this EP or are not familiar with Metalucifer, I say this is a pretty solid start to begin with. Hopefully you at least go backwards and at least check out the other stuff. I think they're all worth checking out. It's just, again, just straight up, no bullshit, straight to the point, traditional heavy metal. So that's all. Hope all of you enjoyed. This is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.